Hi there, my name is Robb Hillman. I am a registered nurse and a certified life coach, and I think today is a good day for a good day. I want to talk to you guys today about this little teeny kind of topic called happiness. And actually, I am going to look at a really small part of this. But the thing that I wanted to talk about today is just this quote that's been going around. I just saw it in a movie. It's one of those things that I love, and it's pretty simple. It is that avoiding unhappiness is not the road to happiness. Right? Think about that for a minute. It's like kind of one of those really profound sentences. And I think this is something that a lot of people, including a lot of nurses, get caught up with, right? Because we go to work is hard, we get, emotionally and mentally and physically drained. And sometimes what we end up doing is we start putting up limits, right? We're so exhausted, we don't have time to do all the things that we want to do, that we want to protect ourselves. So we start making our lives smaller and smaller by putting up these walls. We don't want to feel vulnerable. We don't want to feel unhappy, right? So we try to avoid those things. We try and cut them out of our lives. And what we do is we just make our lives really small. We go to work, we go home, we end up watching a lot of TV, we end up spending a lot of time on Facebook, and we stop doing the things that might actually create happiness for us, and because we're just so focused on avoiding anything that might create unhappiness. And as a coach, what I would offer you is that this is not the best way to do what we want, right? Because they're two very different things. Avoiding unhappiness is not the same thing as seeking happiness. We're not going to get those two results at the same time. Okay, it's not like we avoid unhappiness and we avoid unhappiness, and I didn't get unhappy about that and I didn't get unhappy at that, so now suddenly I'm happy. No, happiness comes from experiences. Happiness comes from relationships. Happiness comes from, the journey that we go on to get through this life. It's not like this destination that someday we're going to get there and then we're going to be happy and everything's going to be, butterflies and unicorns. It is a journey. We have to get there. It is a choice that we make to be happy. And so I just want you to think about it. I really want to challenge you guys about this. Like, look at your life and look at the areas where you are trying to avoid unhappiness and ask yourself, is that actually making me happy? Or is it just, cutting things out that might make me vulnerable? Because sometimes vulnerability is where we get the most happiness from. Right? How many times, and you guys know this person, right? The person that is so afraid of losing a partner, of losing, a relationship, that they end up kind of distancing themselves and cutting themselves off. And then the person, of course, leaves them because it's not a real deep relationship. They don't feel loved. They don't feel, that connection anymore. And so, the person who's just trying to avoid unhappiness ends up creating the exact thing they didn't want to happen, and that person leaves them. They are so afraid to be vulnerable and to open themselves up that they push the other person away before the other person can do it to them, right? It's trying to protect ourselves, but then we create the exact horrible outcome that we didn't want. And so I just want you to think about that. Are you really out there? Are you seeking happiness? Are you looking for ways to be happy? Are you trying new adventures and trying the things that are going to create that happiness for you? Or are you just trying to avoid unhappiness? And in that sense, are you just kind of pushing things away and putting up walls and making your life smaller than you want it to be? All right, kind of a short video today, but I think this is just a really great idea, a really great topic to think about, and I hope you will find it helpful. Have a great week. I will talk to you next time.